Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And oh my goodness, I have got an amazing guest for you. We have been fighting each other's calendars, right? I've been wanting to get her on here since the beginning of 2025 of this year, and now we're in August. I know. And I finally managed to track her down. And so today we're going to have Emma Hine come into the stage and talking about different business aspects as she is a business strategy. Mm. As she's a business strategist. That made no sense. Oh my goodness, I can't say words. Please forgive me, guys. I have got a fever going at the moment, but it's all about showing up, right? And so please welcome Emma to the stage. Oh my goodness, Emma. I'm super excited to have you here.
And I am super, super excited to be here. At last, we made it happen. We
Yes.
made it happen. I feel like we need a cannon to go off, with confetti and all of that type of stuff.
We should have got that figured out, right? Should have
We
had that
should.
happen.
Yeah.
Maybe next one. Oh my goodness. But Emma, I've got so many questions to ask you, right? I have been following you on social media myself. You're doing so many amazing things that I just need to ask you all these questions all about what you're doing, how you're doing it. But before we get into all of that nitty-gritty, I would love for you to share with our audience today a little bit about your background, like how you got to business, how you got to this particular business as a business strategist. What did that look like? Because we all know it doesn't happen with a click of a finger.
No, wouldn't that be great if you could just click your fingers and you're where you wanted to be? Yeah, so my business journey, I suppose my self-employed, my looking after myself, my CEO role started back in
Mm.
2006. Prior to that, I was in corporate. So I was working for what was at the time one of the UK's largest building societies, and I was managing a team where we were responsible for all of the processes, the regulation, and the compliance across the entire branch network and the direct sales channel. I loved my job. I actually enjoyed what I did, and the people I worked with were all lovely. But I just wanted something a little bit more. I always felt that I wanted more freedom. I think we all want that, right? We all want that bit of extra freedom. So I wanted a
Mhm.
bit more freedom, a bit more to be able to be Emma rather than employee number. I can still quote my employee number. So I knew I needed to do something. And everybody thinks launch a business. It's dead easy. You make loads of money. You sit on a beach in Bali and you just, drink the cocktails and do all of those things, and it all happens magically around you. So that was sort of where I was thinking, back then. Um,
Yeah.
and my first business started from there was a birthday card on the bedside table. And I just remember saying to my hubby, do you know what? Nobody sells them online. You can go into shops and buy them, but nobody sells birthday cards online. I wonder if there's a business in that. Funnily, there was. So that's what we launched. Me and my husband together, we launched an e-commerce business selling at the beginning just birthday cards, greeting cards, those sort of
Oh,
things.
wow.
And we built it and we built it and we built it and we added in gifts and we added in homewares and we added in party wear and lots of things over time, got added in. And ultimately that went from nothing, working from our bedroom, to a £1 million business. So we were turning over in excess of £1 million every single year selling birthday cards. So there was a business in it. There absolutely was a business in it. We didn't know how to run our own business. I'd worked in strategy, process management, project management. So I got lots of skills, but it is so different. The skills, when you transfer them into running your own business, are so, so different. So that happened. But what happened whilst that business was building and growing is I lost me along the way. So that thing where I said I wanted that freedom, I didn't have any of that. I was working all the hours. I was working on holiday. So I was going on some amazing holidays, but I was
Mhm.
never enjoying them. We got the fancy cars, the fancy houses, that we got all of the stuff and things around us, yet I was never able to enjoy them. I was so, so unhappy with that business. And we can dive into that more if you want to dive into that more.
Yeah.
Um, but the point came where I reached a point of I physically cannot do this anymore. So after the Christmas rush in 2020, so obviously that's like 14 years ish since we first started it, I just said, I've had enough. Can't do anymore. Don't care how much money it's making. Don't care what this is going to do to our lives, but it's got to go. Um,
Wait, so you were doing this for 14 years on
mhm.
the trial, and then after like 14 years, and then that's when you were like, oh my goodness, can't do this anymore. Because that's a long time to be doing that for.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'd known for a long time that the business wasn't giving me what I wanted, but I'd sort of got myself onto that grind that we'd got staff, we'd got premises, we'd got all of this stuff that suddenly became my responsibility. I was afraid what people would say if I walked away. I was afraid, I had no idea how to do anything differently. I didn't know things like business coaches existed. I thought they just sat in the corporate world because although it was an online business, it was just really us and our warehouse. We didn't see this world I'm in now. Boy, I wish I knew that existed back then, but I really didn't. I didn't know that there was people that could come and help you and see things that you can't see, so for me, there were so many times where I should have done something differently, but I didn't. And we had a conversation before we came on here how time just disappears with you. That's what happened with that. The time just disappeared and gradually wore me down and down and down to the point that I said, no, no more. It's got to go. It's got to go. Got to walk away from this business and do that, big dramatic close down the doors type thing. And that's exactly what happened. We stepped away and we closed completely for 3 weeks. We'd never done that before. I only ever took one day a year off, which was Christmas Day. We
Oh,
walked away. I know this is what I was like. So we took 3 weeks off to actually look and see how we could do things differently. And we agreed like a stepping stone plan that would enable us to eventually, to step away. And we did. The first process came in instantly, and revenue dropped very drastically, which we knew it was going to. We were expected for that. So, cut down the warehouse size, staff, and all of that had to cut down. But it gave me the opportunity to really look at who I was, what I wanted to do, what was going to make me happy, what my skills were, because I'd lost that. I didn't know who I was. So that's what I did. I spent like 2021 really was a year for me of take yourself off to an island and find yourself, but actually there was no island. So I did that exercise to find myself, and all I kept saying, and I had no idea how, is I want to help people to be happy in business, because I knew I hadn't done that. I knew how to grow the business. I knew all of that stuff, but I wanted to help people to do the opposite of what I did. Build a business that they actually love. So building them into the business rather than just forgetting that stuff. And that's where this business came from.
oh my goodness. Okay. Before we get into the business that you're doing, I've already got like so many questions for you, right? From what you just said. And so, first of all, like when you decided, oh my goodness, a birthday card business, did people around you think you're mad, Emma? Like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, and how did you kind of overcome that, right? With your own mindset and not like help, because there must have been doubts as well. If everyone around you thinks you're mad, right? Like, why would you go down this road? How did you tackle that?
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, people still think I'm mad because that's how I roll. But yeah, it was a battle, because what we found is even when we were contacting suppliers, so I did that thing, you go in a shop, you turn the card over to look who the manufacturer is so you can reach out to them and, and see where they're at. And they were all like, we don't do that. We sell our shops to card shops where they have the racks and they put this card in that pocket, this we don't do online. So it was a real fight. It was a real fight. We had to start by going to wholesalers where people go for like market stalls and things like that, because they were happy for you to just buy the cards and do whatever you like with them.
Right.
And then some of the smaller retailers started to say, oh, yeah, we think there might be something in this. The internet is growing and Moonpigs appeared, and
Yeah.
there's perhaps something in it. Um,
Hmm.
so eventually these smaller companies started to come on, but then as people started to see it happening, all these companies who were like, no, we don't do that, were suddenly going, hello, we want a piece of this. We can see this is something that people actually starting to want. So before you know it, they were sort of eating out of our hands. They were sort of, we were able to say to them, do you know what, you don't fit now, you said no last time, so we don't want you. um So it's sort of just that started to happen. And then we realized strategically greeting cards are a massive thing. You've got to sell a lot of greeting cards to, to cover your costs. And we were literally sending people one card, if that's what they wanted, which is why we started to add in the, what will people buy alongside this? That's where the gifts came from. And then that turned into homewares and, all of that type of stuff. But yeah, people thought we were crazy, but I was determined that we were going to find a way to make it work. I had a backup. I'd got the corporate career. I was, I didn't leave straight away. I'd still got that, so I'd got a backup. But yeah, no,
Wow.
just determination.
Oh my. Yeah, and now look at it. There's so many companies that sell cards online now. Like it, so
Exactly.
you saw it before the boom happened,
Exactly.
right? So
We were number one on Google. We knocked Clinton's off their top spot, and I'm proud of
stop
that
it.
moment. Yeah, absolutely, we did.
So
100% we did. Yeah, yeah. I was proud of that day. Screenshots and
yeah,
everything. Yeah, yeah. We
that's
we
awesome.
were one of the really, really early companies in there, which is going to have helped us, isn't it, to have got ourselves up there. Absolutely. But we were blinking hard. There you go. Didn't swear.
Yeah.
We were blinking hard.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so was there something you've been doing this for a while now, the cards and selling them online? And you were like saying you've been working all the hours that God sent you, and I'm assuming that was you and your husband working together on this business. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we got a team of people by this point, but yeah, we were both involved. He did like the warehouse logistics. I did the sort of running the CEO type tasky stuff, the behind the scenes type stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, my question to you is, how was it like? Because a lot of people say, right, it's a bad idea to work with family. Right? So, what was that concept like? Because you're working all the hours of the day, but then plus you still got that home life as well and
Mhm.
kids and all of that. So, did it work really well? Was there things that you had to put in place? Like, how did that really structure out for you?
Well, we're still married, so it must have worked. Something must have worked. Something must have worked. Do you know what? There was times where it was brilliant, and there was
Mm,
times where I can definitely see it was a hindrance. The fact that we did it together didn't meant that we didn't have to switch off as such. You hadn't got a husband to go home to or a wife to go home to or a partner to go home to. It's just like, shut up now, enough shop, let's talk about us. We could literally do that till the minute we went to bed, till the minute we woke up. So that was part of the problem. We were able to continue that work conversation wherever we went because we were both right in that. So that was like the bad thing, but that was down to us how we allowed that to happen. We allowed that to happen. um, but equally, I think because we knew each other, we knew our skills, we knew ourselves, we knew each other inside out, we were able to
mm,
use that to our benefit. So it sounds crazy. We were in there some days like 18, 19 hours, and we might not see each other for 2 or 3 days because we were off doing our own bits of the job. And we discovered that actually the best way to do it was that way, because we are very different in lots of ways. If we tried to do the same thing, we probably would have just disagreed. So we just found a way. And I think I'm lucky that I get on really, really well with my husband. Some people are like, "Oh, I couldn't cope with that for more than 5 minutes," but it worked really well for us. But there was definitely things that contributed to the fact that we never had 5 minutes off.
wow. Okay. All right. And so, when you then decided after like 14 years of doing this, was there something that happened and you were like, "Oh my goodness, no, that's it. I'm done." Right? You spoke to your husband, be like, "No, I'm done. Let's just get rid of this." Or was it just something that you just kind of looked at each other and you were like, "I'm so freaking exhausted. I'm tired. We can't do this anymore." Like, what happened?
At the actual time, nothing particular happened, but
Okay.
over the years and the run up to that, lots of things had happened. So I had, I don't know if do we need to stick a trigger warning on here if I start talking about what actually happened? Do we need to
No,
do anything about
no, no.
that? No, no. Fine. Okay. So I became very unhappy. So my mental health started to take a real downward spiral. Yeah, externally, this smiling, happy, bubbly Emma that everybody knows was all anybody saw. Nobody ever saw any of this stuff going on, because that's how I dealt with it or whatever I did. So I stopped eating, I started drinking a lot, so my weight dropped drastically. I was drinking a lot more than I should be. I just became very, very unhappy. Locking myself away. Just I threw myself more into work to try and overcome the fact that I felt so unhappy. So that sort of spiraled. It spiraled and spiraled and spiraled to the point that I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to be on planet Earth anymore. I sort of thought perhaps the world would be better without me. Perhaps this business would be better without me. Perhaps my family would be better without me. So I did attempt to take my own life at one point, and that should have been the point where I said, walk away. But I didn't say that
Right.
for 4 or 5 years later, further down the line. Because I got kept going. The next day after that, I'm up, back to work. Nobody knew. My husband was the only person that knew because he was the person that stopped it
Okay.
happening.
Okay.
Nobody else knew, and nobody else was allowed to know. I wouldn't have any help. I wouldn't do any of those things. So there was lots of points where
Mm.
I should have realized that was the time to make a change. The only thing that I can think happened when I reached that point in 2020 is I found some strength. I got to the point where I perhaps self healed or whatever I'd done, to the point that I actually felt strong enough to say, I can say what I want to do now, and it's time for me to say what I want to do. So it's strange because all of the times I had those warnings, those things, I should have done it.
Yeah.
I never did. At that point, nothing happened. I just always put it down to I must have just reached a point where I felt strong enough to say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow. Okay. That is a lot to go through, right? And the fact that you're going through all of that emotional, mental, well-being yourself and still running a seven-figure business, and just keep on going. Like that is insane. But I'm so glad because my question was going to be like, did your husband know about this? Like, what was his reaction, right? Finding out that you're feeling so low to the point that you didn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, yeah, he knew, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. That is the honest truth of
Mm.
this. I literally wouldn't be here, because he was the only person. When I look back, there's guilt on me because he was the
Wow.
only person that knew. So and I literally wouldn't allow anybody else to get involved or anything like that. So he dealt with all of the drunken Emmas, the picking Emma up off the floors. He dealt with all of that privately, for years, literally for years. So he knew, and he was amazing in terms of how he supported me through that. And I think it must have just been him that did whatever he did to get me to that point. No idea. A lot of it for me, still to this day, I don't know what happened, because when you're a drinker, you miss a lot
Yeah.
of time. You miss a lot of time. That's the reality of it. You miss a lot of what is actually happening. Um, so I still don't know some of the things that I did and said during that time, and I probably don't want to know.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
goodness. But oh my goodness, well done to your husband. Like that is
amazing
amazing.
man, amazing man. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, do you still work together in business or do you do separate things now?
Sort of. I'm going to say sort
Mhm.
of. I do this, as in I'm the face here and do all of that type of stuff, but he helps me with stuff behind the scenes. He likes property
Oh, wow.
renovating and things like that. So that keeps him, that's like his busy bit, but he's good at
Okay.
things that I'm not good at. So when it comes to website, making sure it all looks lined up and all of that type of stuff, he's my man. He's my man. He's
Oh,
top. If you want somebody to go over your website and tell you what's right and wrong, he's the man. I shouldn't sell his services.
oh.
I shouldn't sell his services. He'll kill me. He's my man. Does it for me.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so I want to talk about the magic that you create for your clients now and the type of business that you have. So, can you share with us a little bit about what that looks like and how you actually help your clients?
Yeah. So I always talk about myself. I'm a business strategist and a mentor. And I'm a mentor because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt several times over.
Okay.
Um,
So, before we get into that, a lot
mm,
of people don't know what the difference is. What's the difference between a business strategist and a mentor?
Okay. Now, I think we all have different termination that sits around this. So
Right.
for me, a mentor is somebody who has the lived experience. So they're able to
Hmm.
take you through, I did this and this is what worked and this is how I did it and all of that type of stuff. So to me, that is what a
Right.
mentor is. A strategist is somebody that is able to look at the bigger picture, tell you what's missing and tell you what you need to do to fix it. So it's a little bit more telly in terms of what you need to do. And then a coach is someone who's going to get it out of you what you need to do. So I sort of do a bit of the whole lot, really.
Right.
So for
Right.
me, a strategist is more seeing what your problems are, giving you a solution so you can go and fix that problem. I bring in my lived experience as well, which is why I like to make sure I'm clear that I've also mentored people as well. So that's the difference
Fantastic.
between the two. Um,
Mhm.
so that is what I do. How I come at it is very much about getting clarity on what your future looks like. I talk about your dream, getting clear on your dream before you actually start to build the business. Or if you've already built the business and it's not working, we go back to that. So for me, everything I do always starts with what does success look like to you? I don't want the pretty versions that you see everybody else doing and assuming that's what it is. I want you to really deep
Right.
dive into what you actually want your business and your life to look like. And then I help people to create a business. So that's looking at their systems, their offers, the strategy, the whole thing that enables them to build that dream business, dream life. Is how I sort of help people. I do most of my work quite intimately with clients because I love that. That's how I feel at my happiest when I can really deep dive into somebody's business. So via my mastermind,
Right.
my one-to-one, that sort of thing is how I do most of my work. But yeah, I love it. But to me, I've got a framework called the Dream Framework. It has to start with your dream. What is it you want?
I love it. You're reverse engineering it basically.
Absolutely.
I, I
Absolutely.
love
And a lot of people miss that step. They
that.
jump straight into, and I get it. I'm not criticizing anybody that does it. I did exactly that thing first time round. And I
Yeah.
think we all do it to a certain extent. I think we need to do it to a certain extent. But when you're building something that's long term sustainable, you've got to have some passion. You've got to enjoy it. Because if you don't, you're going to either burn out or you're going to say, I don't like this and I want to do something different. You're going to start this pivoting game, constantly pivoting and changing. So for me, how on earth can you know you're going in the right direction if you don't know where you're going?
Absolutely. Yes, exactly. I love that. Okay, now business strategist, right? That is a really wide area. Like it includes all sorts like social media, email marketing, automation, probably even AI now, because that's really hit out there. Like, how do you decide as a strategist, even as a mentor, even a coach, where people need to start? Because it's so much involved in business.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think it depends on one, where they're trying to get to, what is it
Okay.
they are trying to achieve? And then we do that reverse engineering piece. So if somebody is looking for, a very, let's talk about me, a freedom-based lifestyle where you can go and work anywhere in the world, take your laptop and you can do your job just as efficiently as you can if you were based at home in your office or wherever it is you work from. So if you're looking for something like that, then it's looking at business models that enable that to happen. So you're not going to create a business model that means actually, go back to my old business, I'm tied to a warehouse or an office or something like that. So it's looking at the structure first to make sure that aligns. Then it's looking at the offers that you put out there. So how do you like working with people? How can you deliver the service in the way that you enjoy doing it? So it's making sure that everything you do is aligned to your vision, your dream, your values, your version of success, I suppose. So it's putting all of those pieces together. So for everybody, it looks different, but for
Mhm.
everybody, it's about the dream, the business model, their offers that they're putting out there, and making sure that they are all aligned with how you do it. Sitting off each of those things then comes in your systems, your processes, so much stuff, so
Mhm.
much stuff. I My clients, the first thing I always strip them back to is that question that you'll hear me ask people a lot is, what does success mean to you? Get that right, we can create everything else that sits around it and find the right path.
Oh, I love that. Now, because there's so much involved in business, right? All sorts of different things. And things continue to evolve, right? Technology continues to evolve. Like, Emma, how do you, as the coach, the strategist, the mentor, keep up with everything so that you can help your clients keep up with everything else?
I love researching, reading, watching, listening, podcasts, all of that type of stuff. I think that comes with the territory of being a strategist. You are a natural researcher. You're somebody that is constantly wanting to understand something, not at surface level. You want to go deeper, you want to understand it more. I think that what makes a strategist somebody who really does want to do the research and find their own solutions. I can read something and then I'm like, right, okay, I need to work that through. I need to see that. I need to see how that plays out. So I'm a go and try things out, experience different things type person, because I think that's how you learn. Equally, yes, I'm a strategist, and yes, strategy covers every single spectrum. I can't be the expert in every single part of strategy. So I also believe in working with other people. So if somebody wants something specific, AI is not one of my specialist areas. So I would connect my clients with other people or bring other people into my world to give them those specialist skills. I think that's key, isn't it? Collaborating with people who focus really hardcore on one specific area. So for me, I'm just a nosy
Really?
person.
I like it. I like it. All right. So, with all the different clients that you've helped, are and like any common things that you keep seeing people do again and again and again, because there is so much noise in the online space. Like there's so much noise and it does cause confusion. And you see all these top gurus doing all these amazing things, but I mean, a lot of it is probably not for people where they are in business right now. So, what kind of common things do you see people making mistakes that happen again and again and again? And you're like, oh my goodness, right? So, what are some of those common mistakes? And then how to get over all of that?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that people do is they listen to all of the everything that is going on. So, somebody says to you, you need to do it this way. So they give that a go. Then somebody else says you need to do it this way. They give that a go. This.
Mm.
So I think that's the key one. People getting literally pulled into every single thing that they're doing. And I will say that all comes back to the very thing that I say to them. What do they want? How do they want their business to run? Who do they want to work with? How do they want to show up? So for me, it all comes stripping that back to just because that works for them doesn't mean it'll work for you. If it's not aligned
Mm,
with you, your values, the how you like to work, how your clients need you to show up, it's not going to work for you. So that's one. The second thing I
yeah.
see a lot, and this one, like, is the pivoting game. So somebody gives something a go for all of 5 minutes, don't make £1 million in 5 minutes. So they're like, right, okay, I need to do something differently. So they start all over again, same thing. Give it another 5 minutes, still not a millionaire. I'll try again. So that pivoting game, not giving anything enough time to actually work. And I think, it's assuming that from day one it's all going to happen magically. And this comes down to hearing all of the noise online. I mean, how many times do you see the posts that say, do this one thing and you'll make £10,000 in 5 minutes? It, it
Hmm.
it all links to that same thing. So I think that to me they're the two things: the constant pivoting because they're not giving it the
Yeah.
time, and the fact that they're getting pulled into thinking they need to do every single thing. I need all of the things rather than actually saying what are the right things that you need. And that all comes down to going back to the beginning. What is it you want? Where are you now? What are the gaps? Let's bridge them with the way that's going to work.
I love that. Okay, now let's talk about what you just said here, because finding out what it is that you want and then reverse engineering it. I find a lot of the time, and this was me in the very beginning, I don't really know. I just want to make money. I don't really know what life would look like. So, how do you help people that pull that out of them? Or what are some of the things that we should be thinking about if anyone's thinking about going into business and building it? How do we kind of figure out, all right, what does that look like for us?
Yeah. The key word is always going to be why. I'm like a
Mm,
child. Do you know what those children constantly say? You answer a question and they say
yeah,
why. That's what you need
that
to
was
do in
me.
terms of you. There you go. Well, it's me now. But that's what you need to do. So when somebody says to me, you know, I want to make £5,000 a month or £50,000 a month or whatever it is, I always say, amazing. Why? Because actually, it's never about making the 5,000 or the £50,000 a month. It's what that is going to give you, what that is going to enable you to do that you actually want. So for me, it is always about diving deeper into, you say this, why? You give me this answer, why? You give me this answer, why? So really diving into doing that work, going deeper and deeper and deeper. And it will not happen overnight. You're not going to be able to sit there with a big piece of paper and really draw out your full vision, your full dream all in one go. But you can get some of the basics clear so that then you can keep working on that and keep building on that as time goes on. But yeah, it's just digging deeper constantly into, you want to earn money, why? So, okay, so you want to go on holiday, why? Just keep going until you get to the point where you go, that's it. That's why I want to do this. Because there's always something that sits right at the bottom of that. And also, it's allowing yourself to dream without limitations. Because I think we often think, but I can't do that because I don't know how to. Or there's other people that are already doing that, so I can't do that. So it's actually sometimes just allowing yourself that time to say, forget the why you can't do it, forget the how you're going to do it, but just what would it look like if you could do it. So it's quite a time-consuming process, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Now, I know at this point people are probably thinking, do you know what? I'm loving this. I need help with this. And they want to connect with you. But before we go into all of that, like, what are the ways that people can actually work with you?
A few ways at the moment. I have a mastermind, which is like the hub of my business. So I've got a mastermind, which I absolutely love. There's 2 tiers in the mastermind, so you can get that with one-to-one support or the group support. We have in-person days because I love bringing people together. So there's my mastermind, which is called the Growth Mastermind. I do a one-to-one package. And I also have recently launched something brand new, which is called the Bum Kick Club. And that is all about accountability, because what we often see is people know what they need to do, but they don't always do it. My clients always joke about me coming with a loving kick up the bum. So I thought it's got to be called the Bum Kick Club. It's got to be called that. So I've got that which is obviously much lower ticket, because that is purely about me keeping them accountable via voice note support to make it happen. I have a membership as well, and that's the sort of main ways that people can work with me at the minute.
Oh, I love that. All right. So how do they now connect with you and find out more?
The best place is to go either to my website, which is simple, emmahine.co.uk, or if you go onto Instagram, you'll find me under I am Emma Hine.
Oh, I love it. Fantastic. Emma, oh my goodness. So many golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Absolutely loved all of the nuggets that you've dropped. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. Can I just add one very final thing that I should have said when I was just talking about the how you find your dream? If you go onto my website, you will find a free download called Clarity Before Strategy. That will help you do exactly what you just asked me, how to find out what your dream is. It's quite an in-depth workbook prompt. It's free. Go and grab that.
Oh my goodness, guys, go and grab that quick. Go and connect with Emma as soon as possible. Find out more about what she's doing. Stalk her out on social media, because that's what I do. And find out more about how she can help you, right? I promise you, you're not gonna regret it, right? Go and have that conversation and connect with her. Emma, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved it.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.